let's kick it off. I mean, before we even get into my son's amazing freaking story, and I can tell you now, there's going to be emotions happening today. This is the first time we've actually really had this discussion. I'm so freaking honored to having Slade here to be sharing his journey with me. But before we get into there, for those of you who don't know who I am, I'm Phillip. I'm known as Talky Talk. I speak super fast. But at the end of the day, I've got a funny accent like all of you. So my journey started where I got psoriasis and all these other autoimmune challenges going on. I was a financial planner way back when, and I wanted to try and find ways to get rid of the stuff I had. And I'd gone to a lot of medical professionals, and I didn't get the results I was looking for. So I ended up sort of researching on my own, finding ways, and I found ways to biohack how to help my own health condition. And in between this whole journey, me being a financial planner, I was helping a lot of my clients get the insurances, because life insurance need to go for all these blood tests and stuff like that. But then most didn't get the cover. So I knew some kind of cool health things that I was playing around with. And basically I said, well, I said to them, just go do this on the side. Don't tell anybody I told you. It's so bloody non-compliant. And I basically told them to do some things. They came back like 4, 5, 6 months later, and they reapplied for the cover. And funny enough, they actually got it. And I knew I was onto something so awesome. So I took this knowledge of mine and I started wrapping it up and learning more and more and more. As much as I loved finance, I loved helping the humans with their health. So I transitioned from helping people with money and finance, because I love numbers, and I helped them from helping get their health back on track. And when I started doing this, this whole sort of thing just opened and opened and opened. And working with people with autoimmune, most of them got gut issues. So I was always chasing how to heal the gut. And when I looked at the company at the LifeVantage, someone showed me this probiotic that they had. It's called ProBio. And what it does, it actually bypasses the stomach acid. And what happens then, it actually opens up in the small intestine. Then I knew that's where we needed to make it happen. So that's the only reason why I looked at the company until I saw this thing called NRF2. Fancy, crazy scientific word. And what it was, it helps reduce inflammation. And when I saw that, it made so much sense. I became Talky Talk more, and I started sharing this with all the people I knew, because I wanted to help them get their health back on track, because that deals with inflammation. Little did I know, started this cool little business, and that's how it's just progressed and progressed and progressed. That's my sort of journey in terms of that. But in as much as we can go into science, I want to actually just sort of share my son's story, and he's actually going to do it anyway. And I mean, we have never done this before. It's going to be pretty much raw and real. We're going to have fun. We're going to ask some questions, but there's lots of science we can go into. And I mean, this whole thing of neurodivergency, and you know, Dana, my partner, she's Maori, and I have a lot of people who I speak to who have autism, and no kids have got autism, and we can't say this word autism anymore. It's politically incorrect. So I've offended many people, never my intention. But in Maori, the word autism actually means in your own time. And to me, when I heard that, that's just beautiful, right? Because we all trying to put these kids with this neurodivergency and put them in a box and make them do things in our time. Do it in their own time. So when I heard that, that's beautiful. So if we dive into a little bit of the science, and I'm going to just end it here and then hand it over to Slade. And if we look at neurodivergency, there is a neurotransmitter, or I can't remember that one word. What I said was excitatory. Funny word. I don't know. Let me look it up quickly. I get the right word here. Excitatory neurotransmitter. It's called glutamate. It's in the brain. Now, when you combine this excitatory transmitter, combine it with the glyphosates. Now, glyphosate, well, what's that? Roundup, right? That's herbicides, pesticides, all these things. You combine those two together, it makes these neurotransmitters way overexcited. And maybe this is why we're having kids having, what do you call it? Was it monkey mind, right? Yeah, they're having monkey mind. And there's research from the CDC, they're saying that between 1 and 2 kids are going to have autism, or in your own time, within the next 10 to 20 years. That's huge. But glyphosate, Roundup is still happening. So finding that there, that's another way to look at it. But let's hand it over to Slade, because this is powerful. I want to ask you questions and pick your brain and tell me, you know, we are so freaking lucky to have you here. Share to me your journey, how you started from yeah, just tell me more how it started, you know, why we're here in the first place.
So it started when you and mum got divorced. I was about 12 years old, and at that stage, it took a massive toll on me. Stuck in the middle, I felt like the problem. And being 12 years old, not really knowing what I want to do with myself, having friends around, but nobody to really support me. I didn't have a parent that I could look up to, because you both had your own separate things that you want to do with yourself, basically. And at that time, my mental health went down the drain. I didn't know how it worked. I spoke to psychologists and counselors and people that could help me. And it got to the point where I had my first suicidal thought, and I actually self-harmed. I went to school and had scissors and self-harmed because I didn't know how to cope with it. And for me, the self-harm at that stage was I had lots of pain up here in my heart. I didn't know how to deal with it. But if I had pain on the outside, I could, okay, well that's pain, that makes sense. So not having the ability to compute at 12 years old to realize, okay, what is pain? What is the difference between them? Which was difficult. And then going on to that, it was feeling disconnected from you, from mum at that stage, and going down the track 4 years later, COVID hit. Still had the separation, still feeling disconnected with you, and you actually got stuck over here, and that was super hard. I had to be independent growing up with the parents with you guys separated, and then learning to be independent, but then realizing, oh, my dad's still there. How can I still connect with him to have a leader, so to speak, in my life? And it was super difficult to have a virtual conversation with you, being stuck overseas, and that took a massive toll on my mental health. It just kept going down. You're learning to be independent from the divorce, and then realizing, hey, my father figure in my life, my support network, the person I feel like I should look up to, is not in the picture. And I was angry. I was frustrated. I put a lot of blame on you and pointed fingers because it's your fault and you should be here. And because I didn't know what to do. I had lots of emotions, didn't know how to feel them, didn't know how to basically express them as well. Didn't have that person that I could express them, which then led down the track, mental health decline even more. I had addictive behaviours and to try and escape. And then that kept getting worse and worse and worse. And it got to the point where I was drinking alcohol, abusing alcohol, and to escape from something, which was suicide. So it was one night I was alone at home, and I was drinking, and it got to the point where I thought, no, this is it. I've been thinking about this, and all right, come on, Slade, just do it. You're just mucking around now. That's what I told myself. So I went down to the property we were on and attempted, and yeah, it was a build up of emotion, and I didn't know how to escape.
Yeah.
And for me, it was, some people may say suicide is a selfish decision, but for me at that stage, it was selfless. Why would being a child that didn't really mean anything, dad's out, mum's doing her own thing. It's like, oh, sweet. Well, I don't need to be in the picture, is what I felt. So to me, it was like, oh, I'm actually making the world a better place. I'm doing a selfless decision.
Yeah. Wow.
Which for somebody, for many people may not understand that. And it was,
this is a raw conversation, just letting you know, we've never had this discussion ever. This is pretty much just flowing as we're going, just so you know. So if there's emotions come up, it happens. So just go with the flow. I mean, it's a huge deal. And I mean, I want to ask you one question, and I know Melissa actually alluded to this to me the other day. She says, Phil, can you ask Slade a question? Can you give us some tips because we don't know when kids are dealing with depression. Sometimes we're so busy in our own lives. Can you give us a tip, like all the moms, dads, parents out there? What tip can you give us? Like, hey, look for these signs. I've got this going on. Can you give us something, at least something to work on? Because as parents, we want to do the best for you, and there's no freaking book, right, that we can look at. So give us a tip that you can, or some tips that we can help see that.
To speak with vulnerability from both parents, well, for parents, to share just, hey, you know what, the financial situation is difficult at the moment. To share the raw, real situations that are happening, which then makes, for me, it made me feel like, hey, I understand what's going on. I'm in the picture. I'm not just getting hit. You can't see that. You're too young. Things like that. So to have those conversations that are just open, you know what? How's your mental health?
Mm.
How are you actually doing? Are you happy? Whether it's to do with school, whether it's mental health, whether it's friends, anything like that. And by asking those questions, it's seeking for a parent's perspective, it's seeking to understand what's going on. Not you shouldn't drink, you shouldn't feel like that. It's everything is accepted. You are validated as a human.
Yeah.
Which is so much more powerful than a child to discover self-validation. And that's what I had to do. I had to validate everything that was going on my own because there was nobody around that could do it for me.
So it sounds like a big thing is communication, keep it open.
100%.
Yeah. And I think we're so fortunate, like now we're having conversations where we speak about everything, anything, right?
Yeah.
Like we won't talk about that, but we talk about a lot of cool stuff. I mean, you know, the suicide thing, it's like there's so many kids in your age group that are, let's say, lost. That's a better word, you know.
Lost, struggling with identity.
Yeah.
Playing a character, so to speak.
So tell me more, like, I mean, you know, if I look at it from a physical point of view, the physiological point of view, like a lot of, you know, the big word, you said this thing about depression to me yesterday. Give me an explanation. What do you say? I understand the word depression. I know we can't technically say that technically, but let's just give me your take on what the word means to you.
So depression, well, going back to labels, I struggled with labels previously. I didn't want to identify as a certain thing. So I thought, all right, I'm going to explain exactly what it means to me. And then I discovered Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey mentions that the word depressed means deep rest, as in the body's playing a character, and this character is tired. It's had this mask on, this heavy mask, and it needs to go into deep rest. The character, for me, that I was playing was just, I'm happy, everything's okay, I can go out, I can socialize, but genuinely deep down, I was crying on the inside. I didn't know how to operate. I didn't know how to remove that mask because of judgment, because of social pressures. So by having that realization of I'm not depressed, I just need to go into a deep rest, which is okay, but I need to come out of it with a removed mask and to have a purpose and more identity within myself. So it's just another take on depression, and it helped me validate and understand more of what I was actually feeling.
I love that. It's so spreading the words up and working them out. I think it's so cool. But I mean, on a physiological point of view, and this because I love the science of brain stuff, and you talking more on the emotional side. When we look at, like, you always used to say serotonin, you know, or when someone's feeling you're a sad sack. I know you used to say that quite often, you know, meaning you are needing some deep rest. And when you look at it, meaning your serotonin levels can be down. Now, serotonin is basically produced in the brain, but actually it's produced in the gut. So 90% of serotonin is produced in the gut, right? So when the gut's working well, we're eating good food, our microbiome's doing our thing, serotonin goes up, it gets produced, right? So then now we're feeling great. But there's one thing that's quite powerful is serotonin is actually a pro-anti-inflammatory, meaning it helps reduce inflammation. So if your serotonin's not happening, meaning your body can't reduce inflammation so well, then the world's crazy, all this toxic world's going on, financial stress, whatever stress, free radical damage, all this stuff. Now, our inflammation markers go up and serotonin go, I can't get up. So what happens? We take the happy pills, as you call them, right? But then what if we find a way to reduce inflammation? And that's where we actually started looking at one of the products we use here is NRF2, Protandim, and that actually reduces inflammation, help heal the gut to serotonin levels can come up. So that's from a physiological point of view. But again, a deep rest, we're going to call it from now on, can be caused from an emotional, instances or events. But from that point of view, but then tell me more about your journey. And I'm mindful of time as well, because we're sort of pretty much halfway in. What's your next thing you did? Tell me more where you went from there, as you started discovering what is going on.
Yeah, so realizing, hey, my attempt at suicide was not successful, and looking at it now, it was unsuccessful, and I'm grateful that it happened the way it happened. So I thought, all right, I need to change something, and I thought, all right, I'm going to change environment. That's something that it's a big step. I can remove myself from other people that are influencing things, and I can learn to be a bit more independent. So I went to the mines, and fortunate enough to be there, to make a decent amount of money, and still had the virtual connection with you, and was able to to realize, all right, I actually need some purpose. By having a purpose, by having a reason to wake up, a reason to be alive, I need to find that. And you mentioned NRF2, which is one of the products that you were talking about. And I thought, great, well, I'd like to try this. You're raving on like a crazy person about it. And I thought, you know what, I'll just see what happens. Well, I can maybe it was a little bit cheeky. I was kind of like, maybe I'll prove you wrong that it doesn't work.
Oh, now it comes out, eh? I never knew that.
Well, that's it. I need some purpose. Let's just try something new. So,
oh, that's funny.
so having the money to be able to purchase a decent amount out there.
Yeah.
I thought, let's buy in bulk, which actually set me up as a consultant.
Yeah.
So possibly in the future, what I thought at that stage, maybe I can help some humans and share more of what's going on.
Yeah.
Which then led me to actually consuming the product and feeling better. But I really didn't understand why at that stage. I just thought, let's just try some Dad's crazy stuff. Have the money. Let's give it a go.
And that's when I recommended it to you, right?
Yeah.
And the only reason why, because at NRF2 activation, what does it do? We speak about reducing inflammation. So I thought, I sure it can help. Because my brain's wired for science. I love it, right? And then that's what we did. And over time and distance, you tell me the reason. What did you notice when you start taking it? And go from there. Share a bit more about that.
I found, first of all, at that stage, I was still struggling and managing my suicidal tendencies.
Yeah.
So the first thing I noticed, any self-harm that I inflicted on myself, it actually healed faster, and which was pretty crazy. That was wild. And for me, it goes back to the emotional side of things. I didn't feel effects straight away, but over time there was more energy that I had, and the monkey mind was still there. I still had things going on, but it just gave me a little bit of extra something to fall back onto. I felt to have purpose within the business side of things, so have something to focus on. And definitely the energy is what I needed. The body being in deep rest for me, I needed energy. I needed to learn how to manage my identity, not this character that I was playing.
Yeah. It's so cool to just have this discussion. And there's emotions coming up from me and just letting you know. I'm even holding back tears because this is so freaking raw and I love it. And I mean, I know you went to the mines, and I know when you came out to mines, there was a video you actually shared, like your journey online, where you cut yourself. Remember that you got stuck in quarantine because of COVID and all the rest of it. And then your monkey mind, we're going to call it, you got a busy brain, right? And I know that's helped a lot, but you also you started to go to men's groups. You spoke about this men's group thing. And it was interesting because I'll be honest, I'm 47. Anyway, I hear men's group is with the older guys. So it's like, oh, that's interesting. You're 20 years old, want to go to some men's group thing. And I was like, oh, this is interesting. So tell me more, because I know you go in Life Vantage and they've got guys online. It's like a community, right? Like a family. And that's something I was doing, virtual parenting, all right, if that's what I call it. Tell me more why you decided to go to the men's group and what did you get out of it?
Yeah. So the reason why I felt like I didn't have purpose, I didn't have much trajectory in life, and I didn't have any leaders, any for me male leaders that I could look up to and follow and get advice from. I could do that virtually, but I needed something more. So it came across like a scam to me at first. I liked the page and it was all this weary stuff and I wasn't sure. And I thought, let's just send it. I'm just going to do it and see what happens. It costs a little bit of money. Let's see. And it was because I needed the community. I needed support. And one day, 12 hours on a one-day retreat, that was it. Emotions came up, and there was actually an amazing, a very scary, but also amazing event that happened on that retreat, which was somebody broke their ankle and had to get airlifted. So the retreat was cut short. But to see a group of 12 men just snapping together, let's help this dude out. The sun's going down. To see that community, that tribe, so to speak, that was just like, sweet. I'm accepted here. I didn't feel accepted elsewhere, and I feel accepted here. And that was the journey. That's what started with, to feel that sense of community and support. Yeah. No judgment. And feel validated.
Yeah, I love that when you share that, because I know, I mean, you also, one of the other products we brought out was Axio, right? And There we go. Talkie talks back in the house again. And I was doing my thing. You've got to get in the stuff. Everything that's going to help you, right? Because it helps with cognitive function and stuff like that. You know, it's a lot of people who have cognitive challenges. Anybody who uses AirPods all in the ears all the time and Wi-Fi and all these things and all that stuff, that affects the brain, actually opens up the blood-brain barrier and widens it. So toxins can get in there and it causes all these things. So when I said to this, yes, it's an energy drink, but it's brain food. Just get in the stuff. Tell me the story, and I'm going to let you share this, where when you took the stuff, because as soon as it came, I just shipped the box to you straight away. I was gone. I said, don't worry about our paper, just get it done. And the first day you took it, we were actually doing the virtual parenting thing again. Yeah, it's funny, eh? Now, thank goodness we're here. So, I mean, so tell with me, excuse me, emotions are coming up. This is a raw sum. I love you, man. This is so cool. So share with me, shit. The first day you took it. Tell me about it.
So the virtual parenting started, and yeah, we're checking with each other, and I was up at Hamilton Island, which is a very small island, in northern Queensland, and I wanted to. I moved up there with a partner at the time to change environment, to keep going with some purpose, to change environment, to just to get my life going basically. And with the men's group, leading on from that, feeling a part of things, virtually connecting with the men's group, feeling super supported. I then went out and started having some leadership and facilitating some events to give back. I've never done it before. I just thought nobody's in the last 19-20 years. I've got a friend that lives up there, never done anything revolving men's work or facilitation of breath works and things like that. And I went out of my comfort zone and I gave back to provide service. And hustling with that, and then a breakup happened just before that. And so it was, honestly, it was the best relationship I've ever been in, but it was also the easiest breakup because I had purpose. I had a reason to keep going. Nothing against her. It was her decision, but I had the purpose to keep going. I went out of my comfort zone, and the reason I could do that, I feel like, was because I was taking Axio. That was one of the things that really complimented. We were on a call, and I was just sharing. All right, yeah, I had this facilitation went amazing. We're on the top of a mountain, and just massive send off. And then I said, man, like, this is easy. I mentioned what I just said was easy breakup, best relationship. Why is it easy? Is what I thought. Well, man, I don't have a monkey mind. Those emotions, that crazy mind was managed.
Yeah. Well,
that was a part of it.
The magic juice, eh?
The magic juice. That's it. And that was a part of it. There's a lot more parts that I used, but for something that I can just to drink.
Yeah.
One thing I didn't mention. I got sober on January 1st. I thought this is a massive problem in my life, the alcohol, the substance abuse. And I thought I need to be sober from alcohol. This is it. This is what I used as a replacement. I used Axio to go to the clubs. I would party my ass off, drinking Axio. Yeah, free water, sweet. Let's sprinkle it in, because I needed to provide myself a social place to go have fun and let some steam off a bit. But that was it. Just let's get on some Axios, and it's the cheapest night that I've had. Going, I don't know, $5 an Axio kind of thing to $13 drink. So much cheaper. And then going back to Hamilton, having the reason why I spent the time to create events and provide service was because I didn't work for me going to the pubs and socializing in that way. I created my own way of socializing and doing something different. And with that, the monkey mind was gone.
Wow.
And that I didn't realize. It was 2 months in, something like that. I'm like, what? How has this actually all been possible? And it's the monkey mind. It basically, looking back at it now, I found that when I was suicidal, when I was dealing with those suicidal tendencies, I was purposeless. I didn't have any purpose. Nothing actually mattered, which is that's why I ended up in that state. And then finding NRF2 and going to the mines, it gave me a sense of purpose. Because from a business perspective, it gave me a sense of purpose. It gave me meaning. Okay, I need to take this product and I need to share with people, for other people, not just for me. It was a selfless act. And then the Axio gave me clarity on my purpose. It's one thing to have a purpose and be like, yeah, I can. Today's going to be great. I can get through today.
Yeah.
But then having clarity on why I'm actually waking up, why I'm doing today. What is the actual deep reason, that purpose within the bones, and understanding that.
Yeah.
That was it. So I'm grateful for the suicide. I'm grateful for all that. I'm grateful for everything that you've done, both bad and good, but it's all because we're all human.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful, going back to it, I'm grateful that I attempted suicide.
Yeah.
Because
that's a big comment, that it's huge. Yeah. It's actually owning it. You know?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
For me, I own everything that's happened in my life. That's mine. It's my responsibility. Which for a 20-year-old, that may be it's hard on myself, but that's the reason why I feel those things in my journey. Put me right here.
Yeah.
Every single thing. And what's super cool, I realized I got 100% survival rate.
Yeah.
Every single day that I've gone through has been difficult in the past, but I've made it out.
Yeah.
And I feel I can do so much more because I went to rock bottom.
Yeah. And when you go rock bottom, the only way it goes up, right?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I love it. And this discussion has been so cool. We're pretty much nearly on the hour. What we wanted to share. But I mean, it was interesting. Like, you want to help the humans, right?
Yeah.
And not to take anything from your story, you want to share with people, right? And the one day you said to me, "Oh, Dad, I'm only making $500 a month doing this thing." I said, "Wait, will you get up at work or don't work, you're making that." That's cool, because you paid your pack back, which started, and whatever you're taking is getting covered. So you're getting your health back on track for free, and you're making some money. And this is why you can do it. So, I mean, imagine if you kept on doing this, and 25 years or 5 years later, you could actually replace whatever you're doing and then thrive. And then that's the thing. A lot of kids your age, I want to just travel. It's like, yes, how I can do it? I don't know. So it's kind of a cool thing. So I really appreciate you sharing this and making it freaking raw and real. This is recording is going to go out.